Yeah. So Allie and I had a great call earlier today. She's just such a joyful person.
She is a joyful person. We
Like
have a great group.
Spark of energy. We really
Yes.
do. We really do.
Hello, everybody. We are here tonight. I'm here with Carrie, and Carrie is coming back for my re-debut of this series. I was doing it really religiously for a long time, and then I went away on vacation this summer, and for like the September getting back into the school thing and all of that, it just kind of slipped out of the group. And then I thought, man, I really miss doing that. It's so much fun that I really want to bring that back. So I thought, who can I interview this week that I think is a joyful person that would just bring light and sunshine to the group on this cold Friday night during COVID craziness, and I thought of you. So I am thrilled to welcome my friend Carrie to answer some questions. And Carrie, can you share a memory that brings you joy?
A memory. There are so many. My most recent memory, because it literally just happened last week, because I have been so worried about my grandmother, and I have been bringing her groceries every week. I picked her up from the hospital after a 10-day stint recently, and she greeted me at her door and was not wearing oxygen. And for me, that just brought such incredible joy. Like I almost started crying. I was so afraid that because of her recent illness, she was going to be tethered to this machine for the rest of her life, which I knew was just going to, she's an outgoing person, that it would have destroyed her. So I'm really happy to announce that she has now been not relying on that for almost a week and a half at this point. And I am like, just thrilled beyond belief. So yeah, that was one of my happiest moments. Of course, another one of my happiest moments was when my husband proposed to me. And, behind the beach cabana where we spend our summers, and asked me to be his wife. And it's been the best 10 years of my life for sure. Anyway,
that's a great memory. So were you expecting it? Was it a surprise?
I might have found the ring in the bag a couple of weeks earlier. And let me tell you, and I'm not wearing it right now, but oh, wow, is it a beautiful ring. And it was hilarious because the way he did it, he like took my hands and he was like, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with you. Will you be my wife? Blah, 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 blah. And then my son, Carter, who was 5 at the time, he's 15 now. He's in the back seat of the car, like, are we gonna go get ice cream? Ice cream, because that was our tradition. And so I was like, chat right now. So that was really fun.
Carter is a boy after my own heart, and you can tell Carter that when my husband proposed, I was starving, and I said, okay, can we go to Taco Bell now? So I'm right there with Carter, like all about the food.
Right.
And I have not been to Taco Bell in years, but in that moment I was like, yeah, okay, but let's just get on with this because there's food that I need to wait for. So Carter and I have a lot in common. Is he a Taurus?
He is a Taurus. Both of my boys are Taurus. They are literally 8 years and 1 day apart. So he got his little brother Charlie 7 years later, and it was like, that was the best birthday present I could have ever given him.
Yeah.
I agree sometimes, but anyway. Taco Bell, oh my God, if they could come out with a gluten-free Crunchwrap Supreme, I would be an
yeah. So other than Taco Bell, what's one thing that you do regularly that brings you joy?
Cook. I love to cook.
So it is similar to Taco Bell, except I
bet
the food
is on the food front. I'm actually like a weird addicted grocery shopping person.
I was
And
going to ask if that was part of the love of cooking, if it was the
it
grocery
really,
shopping thing.
it really is. Like I was talking to a client yesterday and we were talking about, just habits about money and things. And I was looking around, we were talking about spenders and savers. And I was speaking with her in my pantry and I was like, I am a squirrel. Like I am like a squirrel. Like I gather my nuts and I just keep them and then I have them to use. So yeah, I love the grocery store, any grocery store. Like you could talk to me about any of them. I'll tell you all about any and all of them. And I'm really excited for Market Basket to open around here. I've never been. Great things. So yeah, I could go to the grocery store every day, and have a wonderful time. And it's definitely not as joyful without, with the whole restrictions and mask wearing and all.
Yeah.
That aside, I still enjoyed it. And just preparing food for my family and having dinners together.
Yeah. So one of my favorite travel memories is, I think you'll enjoy this. I was in Italy with two of my girlfriends, and we weren't doing any like touristy stuff that day. We were in this little town. It's called Soriano nel Cimino. And we got up in the morning and we walked around to all of the all of the little stores, not grocery stores, but all the little shops. And we shopped all morning and we watched the other women in town shop for making the rest of the meal for their day. And all the stores there shut down at noon and then they never reopened for the rest of the day. So there's women running around town and ordering their food for the big midday meal, and everybody goes home for middle of the day. All the kids come home. But I remember just going into like all these little grocers, and my favorite shop was the pasta shop, because in Europe I can eat flour. I don't have celiac. I just have gluten intolerance, and it's all related to the chemicals and the way we process flour here. So I went into the pasta shop with her, and they had these little fried risotto balls, and she gave us one, and I was like, oh, this is like heaven. And then she packed up a bunch more for us, because I was just so like, I was drooling over this little fried risotto ball, and it was amazing. But that's probably one of my favorite travel memories ever. So shopping in Europe for food is so much fun. It's such a different experience than here.
It is. That's one of the things that, when I lived on Federal Hill, I used to love. I wish at the time I could not afford to shop in most of the shops there, but I loved to go in them and browse. And sometimes I'd go and get like a fancy bottle of wine at Gasparo's and go to Venda and get my beautiful bread back when I used to eat bread. And you could go to Antonelli's and get the fresh meats, and it was just like such an experience. Yeah. And that's the only thing I miss about living in the city, is being able to walk around and like get what you need. I love being out in the forest. Like it's just peaceful out here.
Yeah.
So
tell me a little bit about how you got started with this love of grocery stores. And I've heard this before about how you got started with your love of grocery stores and shopping and all of that. But I'd love for everybody else to hear a little bit about why this is such a joy for you and why you love it.
Well, it's a sad story, because my mom had severe mental illness. And by the time I was 11, I was in the 6th grade, she was to the point where she could no longer, she was the homemaker, but she was not able to grocery shop anymore. She was not able to cook anymore. The illness had pretty much incapacitated her to the point where she was checked out and I was in. And if my dad and I were going to eat, I was going to be the one making the food. So, I, at that age, got handed the grocery budget, and she had already taught me to coupon. So I learned how to do that. And that's kind of where I fell into couponing and getting all the strategies. That's why I'm like a price like magnet. I know what all the different costs are everywhere. So that's how it all started. And then, you know, and at the time I didn't know how to cook. She had never taught me how to cook, but my former mother-in-law actually did a lot with me and inspiring me on how to make different foods and make stocks and make the most out of food, which was really cool. So yeah, it's making your grocery dollar stretch as much as possible was kind of what started my obsession with grocery shopping and making sure that we always had enough to eat, and we did, even with limited resources.
It is a sad story, but it's also kind of it's nice that you have that you have sort of a good memory of your mom associated with that, of the coupon, learning how to coupon and her teaching you that and teaching you how to shop. And so there's this really lovely piece of that, even though it's sad, where there's this nice before, you know, that she gave you something like that. And I think that's really beautiful. So
it taught me how to bargain too.
Yeah.
And heckle. Anyway.
Bargaining and heckling is a good skill.
There's some good skills.
So Ali said that she is obsessed also with being current on grocery prices and couponing. That does not surprise me at all, knowing
Ali and I are going to need to go take a trip to the grocery store together.
And it's so funny because shopping. You and I have a friend who orders from me regularly for Pure Haven, and I'll bring him his stuff and he'll go, "How much do I owe you?" And I go, "Oh, I don't know." And these are the products I sell and I have no idea how much they cost. Just like, these are amazing, but like the money's, I don't know, like, I'll figure it out. Let me look it up and add that up for you. So I'm always amazed by people like you and Ali, who you love that and you're good at that. I remember my mom when I was little, making me go through and add everything up and figure out sort of as I was going along. And she would make me add up in my head how much things were so that we knew when we got to the checkout how much it was going to be. And she had a very, very, the list was by grocery aisle, and she would do all her meal planning the week before. And I'm not like that at all. I go to the grocery store like every day. I'm like, what do I feel like for dinner tonight? I don't know. So I'm completely the opposite of that. But
I haven't had to bring my kids to the grocery store much during the pandemic. Haven't wanted to, but Carter was with me the other day, my older son, and he's at Aldi, and he was on a snack binge that day, the things he put in the cart, but he was looking at all the unit prices and comparing, like he wanted, well, this cookie is this much, but this is a very similar cookie, and I wonder what's the better price. And then he did that on like 3 or 4 different things. And I said, I've done my job. Like, he's actually, it's not even his money he's spending. So
my mother would make me do that too. She taught me about unit prices and all of that. So she did a very good job with that. None of it was retained because it's so not my thing. What I have to ask you what your favorite grocery store is now.
All right. So for the experience, a store that brings me absolute joy every time I go inside its walls has to be Dave's Market. But the store that brings me joy to my pocketbook is probably Aldi. So I'll usually go to 2 stores a week. So I'll usually do Aldi for all like the basics and things like that. And then I'll supplement with some beautiful produce and meats from seafood. And then some specialty items that I can't find at Aldi. But and I used to do Price Right before Aldi came to town. And Price Right's a fine store. It's just, it's not the same experience. So that's pretty much it. And I do a lot of Stop and Shop just because I've been shopping for my grandmother a lot lately. And
have you been to Wegmans yet?
No, but I am dying to go to Wegmans.
Okay. I do not like grocery shopping. I mean, I like like I said, I like going into little shops and poking around, but I do not like grocery shopping, like just as a thing. But I would be willing to take a drive up to, when COVID has died down, would be willing to take a drive up to Wegmans with you and Allie. And you guys can grocery shop and I'll go sit in the tequila bar.
What a perfect ending.
I know.
I'll just put all my cold stuff in the Yeti and we can have an afternoon.
Absolutely. I think that's a fabulous idea.
Amen.
So what is one tip that you can share with everyone about how you embrace joy that you think others can learn from?
I mean, I practice gratitude. So every single day I tell myself something I'm thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I usually start my day. And it sets the pace, it sets the tone for the whole day. And a lot of times it's the same thing. Like, I'm thankful that we're all healthy. I'm thankful that we're where we are, that we've gotten here. But you know, I spent years focusing on the negative. Like, I was in a miserable marriage for a long time, and I was in a lot of debt for a long time because of that. And it was just very easy to kind of get sucked down. But shifting your thought process, shifting your focus, shifting your momentum into something that's positive, and I've been trying to instill this in my husband and my boys too, is just making sure that you recognize what you have that's good instead of focusing on the negative, because it's very easy to fall down that rabbit hole.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Brings me joy. Essential oils bring me joy. I love the smells. Like, I wake up with them. I go to sleep with them. I just bought a thingy actually at Aldi. You guys can add any kind of essential oil to it whatsoever, and it makes a little rainbow thing. It's a little fan. I have that near my desk now, and I love that. Yeah, so little things.
So I'm going to ask an oil question. So do you start your day with any particular oil to sort of get you in the right frame of mind to start your day, or do you have sort of changed up?
Usually like some sort of citrus, like citrus eucalyptus blend that I really like. So it's just something invigorating, something bright.
Peppermint is really good too for invigorating.
Yeah, I always forget about peppermint. I have it, and I it's always like the forgotten oil. But at night, I mean, the sleep oil, the Pure Haven sleep oil, is my favorite bedtime friend.
Good.
Don't tell my husband.
Is that the sleepy oil?
Yeah, the like lavender and frankincense blend. I adore that. I wish I could eat it. Like, I just love it so much.
Yeah, we have one that's blended with a carrier oil, and you can put it on. So I think that's the one you have. And then there's also a tranquility blend that you can put in your diffuser.
Oh, I might have to get that.
I know you have host rewards coming to you, my friend. I know. So I also, peppermint wise, we got our limited edition is over for peppermint. But my best friend from when I was little, she's not watching it now, but she said to me the other day, "Can I still get the candy cane sugar scrub?" And I said, "No, it's all gone." And I just found this for her. So she's getting a little present. I hope she's not watching so that she doesn't see that. But so yeah, peppermint is fantastic. Wow. I think we covered a lot of territory, Carrie. See, was this hard?
No, not at all. But I want to thank Beth Newberry for constantly like pushing me out of my shell and getting more comfortable in front of the quote unquote camera. So thank you.
Well, like I said, there are few people I can think of that are more joyful and joyous than you. You are just a pleasure to be around, and I love spending time with you and being with you and talking to you. So I thought, oh, this would be so fun. I hope Carrie is willing to chat with us. And I also want to thank you for being so vulnerable and just sharing yourself so freely and openly. And you're just always a pleasure to be with. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm always an open book. And one other closing moment, if anyone is ever feeling down, Christmas music. You just sing a Christmas song and it instantly is like, oh, okay.
We have rules in our house about Christmas music, but I may cheat occasionally. My husband is very no Christmas music until the day after Thanksgiving. And I used to be like that, but now once in a while, I'll kind of like sneak a little Christmas song here and there, because you're right.
I will whistle it in the middle of summer and it drives my family nuts, but I love it. So,
well, his feeling on it is that you need to keep it to a contained time so that it's more special. Once in a while, you need a little Christmas right this very minute, even if it's not Christmas, right? So, yeah, I would agree with that.
Anyway, sorry to make it denominational.
That's all right. I'm sure people who do not celebrate Christmas have things like that where they feel like this is not the right time of year, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. And I can't wait to see you again soon. I know. So for those of you who are watching, Carrie and I go to 2 different networking groups together. So I luckily get to see her on Zoom occasionally. And sometimes we did get to go alpaca farming together too, like to an alpaca farm.
Yeah, I wish I had my alpaca hat right here to show everyone, but it is the softest, warmest, most luscious thing I've ever owned in my life.
I still haven't knit my yarn yet, but I have a knitting date, so I may have to do something with that.
Good. And alpacas bring joy too.
They do. They do. All right. Bye,
thanks,
everybody.
Beth. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.